Basahin ko po yung provision ng Constitution na relevant dito. The President, Vice President, shall be elected by direct vote of the people for a term of 6 years, which shall begin at noon on the 30th day of June next following the day of the election, and shall end at noon of the same date 6 years thereafter. The President shall not be eligible for any re-election. No person who has succeeded as President and has served as such for more than 4 years shall be qualified for election to the same office at any time, unquote. Ito po yung relevant portion ng Article 7. Noong pong ako ay bumoto noong 1987 sa ratification, binasa ko po muna itong provisions ng Constitution natin at napuna ko po na ang term na ginamit dito, the President, ay ginamit ng 65 times sa 1987 Constitution. And in all of these 65 times, the term the President has always meant the sitting President. So, when the Constitution says the President shall be the Commander-in-Chief, that refers to the sitting President. When the Constitution says the President shall be the head of the state, that refers to the sitting President. And when the Constitution says that the President shall be the executive, that refers to the executive, to the only one President, and so on. All the way up to 65 times in the Constitution. While the term the President under this Section 4 should not refer only to the sitting President. In fact, mayroon pong isang justice ng U.S. Supreme Court, si Justice Scalia, sa kaso po ng Olson versus Morrison, na sinabi pa nyo, there is only one President under the Constitution, and that refers to the sitting President. And dapat po natin malaman na ang the term the President refers both to the person as well as to the office, which probably underlines the fact that the President and the office are intertwined at the same time, and therefore it refers only to the sitting President. At maalala po ninyo yung kaso ni President Estrada against Desierto, nung sinabi ng Supreme Court na the immunities of the President refers only to the sitting President and not to the non-sitting President. Pag babasahin po natin yung Constitution ng China, for instance, ang definition ng President refers to the office and not to a person. Yun din po ang ginagamit na term ng mga scholars sa constitutional law. Kagaya ni Corwin, ang title ng libro niya ay The President, Office and Powers. At si Lawrence Tribe says that it refers both to the person as well as to the office. Kaya po nung bumoto ako sa ratification, ay alam ko na ang plain meaning ng the term the President refers only to the sitting President. And that's why this provision of Section 4 refers only to the sitting President. Ayun po, mayroong susunod na statement or sentence dito sa provision at sinasabi, no person who has succeeded as President and has served as such for more than 4 years shall be qualified for election to the same office at any time. Kaya po, maski aminin natin, only for the sake of argument, na absolute na yung provision ng Constitution with respect to former presidents, meron naman pong exception dito sa susunod na sentence. Kaya po ang exception ay ang President must have served for more than 4 years. Kasi Presidente Estrada po naman, less than 4 years ang serbisyo niya. Kasi pinaalis siya ng porsigido sa posisyon. Kaya po, maski absolute yung interpretation ng unang sentence dito, that the President shall not be eligible for re-election. Malinaw naman po na mayroong exception dito sa disqualification. Ngayon po, alam naman natin yung mga sabi ng mga abogado the terms of a constitutional provision should be interpreted in context. Kaya po, tignan ulit natin yung context nitong statement na the President shall not be eligible for re-election. Ano po ang context nito? Ang context nito ay yung unang sentence na nagsasabing the President and the Vice President shall be elected by direct vote of the people for a term of 6 years, which shall begin at noon on the 30th day of June, next following the day of the election, and shall end at the noon of the same day, 6 years thereafter. And then follows the statement, the President shall not be eligible. Ito po yung context ng the President shall not be eligible for re-election. In other words, pag binanggit yung the President na hindi eligible for re-election, ang context po nito ay yung unang sentence na nagsasabing the President and the Vice President who has been elected for 6 years and who has taken his oath of office on the 30th day of June, and so on. Kaya po, maski aminin natin na absolute nga yung prohibition against former presidents, accepted pa rin po si President Estrada dito sa disqualification. Ayun, alam naman po natin na sa wikang Ingles, yung paggamit ng Article V, the President, refers only to a particular person that has been previously mentioned. Kaya po, the President refers to the President who has been elected for 6 years and has taken his oath of office on June 30th and so on. Kaya po, yun ang context ng disqualification provision dito sa Section 4. Maski basahin natin lahat yung paggamit ng the term the President sa buong Constitution, which uses the term 65 times, very clear po na ang gustong sabihin ay the sitting President. Ngayon, since the provision of Section 4 is so clear, then there is no need to interpret. As the lawyers like to say, it is the words used in a statute or in a constitution which is the most authentic embodiment of constitutional truth. Kaya po, hindi na natin kailangan mag-interpret o pupunta pa sa ibang sources upang malaman natin ang meaning ng the term the President. Sinabi na po ng Korte Suprema natin na when we construe the Constitution, we should construe it upon the face of the Constitution itself. Proper interpretation depends more on how it was understood by the people, adopting it at the time of the ratification, rather than the intent of the constitutional framers at the time they were discussing these provisions. Because the intent of the constitutional framers is not necessarily the meaning attributed by the people in ratifying it. And of course, we know very well that in a democratic system, the will of the people is the supreme law. This holds true especially for constitution.
The time is